Yeah, something like that.
So they probably do get a decent amount of sleep.
Maybe.
Well,
Sleep.
Decent in heavy quotations.
Exactly. The other thing I want to notice was in the prison, you can see people from other shifts
because pretty much
very far away, and you can sign to some of them, but let's be honest here. You're not making other friends that aren't within your group.
Because pretty much how the architecture is designed is that you have a massive pillar, and you've got like several points reaching out from the pillar, and then multiple floors of that same structure, and all of them on the windows on the sides of the
What was the name of the prison in 1984? It's that.
But yeah, it's just. Yeah, but you're pretty much stuck with being with the 50 people that you work with, and just glancing at the people who pass from the night shift to your shift for like a second.
Yep.
That's pretty much all the interaction you get. Which, yeah, would not want to do that. I will say that.
Yeah, but the other things we get to see is that Deidre has tightened her grip on Ferrex. What is it? You need to lead the rebellion.
Yeah.
So he goes to Saw Gerrera, who was once again played by Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, it was good to see him again, but also, like, in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm always reminded of Boar Gullet. I am so sorry. Boar Gullet is tethered to that man's character. I am so sorry.
Yes. Basically, this is Saw Gerrera looking closer to how he looks in Rebels / Rogue One. Because this is in between. So this is his most recent appearance in connecting timelines, because he was first introduced in Clone Wars. We then saw him in Rebels. We saw him in Rogue One. He then appeared in The Bad Batch, which takes place before Rebels, and now he's in this, which is before Rebels as well.
Yeah.
And basically, he explains why his partisans don't want to help the wider rebellion, because he's a true leftist, in that we must infight and never agree on anything! So he doesn't want to work with this group because they're separatists. He doesn't like the others because their guests would be like leftist white nationalists.
By the way, when they say Republicans, they don't mean like real world Republicans. They mean like the Galactic Republic.
Yeah, so real Republicans,
like I can see people complaining, oh, they're just making fun of Republicans now, even though it's like, watch the goddamn franchise, you goddamn idiots.
Exactly. Just like how during The Force Awakens, the two groups in the New Republic Senate are called the Populists and the Centrists, and they don't mean what they actually mean. The centrists are not enlightened centrists. But anyways, there's the human cultists, there's the Gorman Front, which, if you haven't watched Rebels, basically in Rebels, the Gorman Front wrong, and becomes the reason Mon Mothma will inevitably come to openly lead the rebellion, unlike in the shadows like she is now. So yeah, the Gorman references is all leading up to when she'll leave, which happens in Rebels. Free nerds!
Which obviously you're hyperbolizing a little bit, but I guarantee you that
no, it is intentional.
You think so?
Yes! Do you not remember what happened to the anarchists when Lenin took over the... Lefty infighting has been a thing for how long? And ostensibly, this is a left-wing rebellion. And also, you know these rightists are lefters. You know...
The writers are lefties.
Yes, you know the writers are left. You know they're talking about the actual left.
Okay, you got me. You got me there.
So...
is there anything we got to say about episode 8, or can we move on to episode 9?
The one thing I just wanted to mention was just that, like how Luthen, he's trying to bring everyone together. He's like trying to create a united front, but this is also where he reveals that he wanted to up the suffering because he needed people angry, because then people will see the tyranny of the Empire.
Alright.
And so now we move to episode 9, which is my favorite of this arc.
Honestly, yeah, no, this one was really good. I would say episode 8 is my least favorite, but it mostly has to do with like how this arc is in comparison to the other two.
So I would give episode 7 like
it's a 7. It's still
a 7. Like, to put in perspective, episode 8 in my opinion has been like one of the weakest episodes of the show, but still better than anything that was the Book of Boba Fett.
I mean, I think we rated that the best episode of that show a 7. Actually, did we rate episode 1 and 8? I think we rated it either a 7 or an 8.
Because episode 1 was the Vision Quest, which was legitimately good.
Yeah, because it was literally like wordless storytelling incarnate.
Yeah, which was actually really well done, and then it all went downhill.
Yeah.
By episode 3, you realized it was over. By episode 5, you were like, this is just...
Or season 2.5.
Exactly. But anyways, so, yeah. But then we get episode 9. In episode 9, everything ramps up. So, for one, Cassian has been there for a while, and it looks very clear he's the team leader now of his group.
Yeah.
He's the team leader, but also he's made friends with other people within the entire cell block.
I want to get the big thing out of the way here first. The implication that things are falling apart in other groups and rumors are spreading around that an entire...
Okay, it's not a rumor.
Well, they pass it off. It's spreading around like a rumor, but we as the audience can interpret this actually happened.
Yeah, so basically the big plot twist, which was my favorite part of the episode, was this. Basically, everyone is just counting down their sentences. They know that once it's over, they get to go home. They're free. Or so they thought.
Because the big thing that happens is that it appears that actually one of the prisoners, when their sentence was over, actually was moved to another block. And when word got around and spread around through the grapevine of that block, chaos ensued, and in order to keep stability, they just murdered that whole block.
Yeah, so how it happened was basically they rioted and they electrified the floor and killed all block, which we know they did. The power went out. They used so much power to kill all of them in that moment, the power went out.
Yeah, and this was also the point where we learn of the PORD, which is pretty much...
we've known about the PORD since episode 6.
Yeah. But this is where we feel like the full force of it inside the prison, because pretty much they just show, if we want to make your sentences longer, we can just go ahead and do that, even if you've already been sentenced.
Even if you've already finished it, you're just going to be our slave for life. And this affects Kino the most, because Kino was just like, if you keep your head down and you get your shift done, you go home. That's what he's been championing. But then the revelation falls upon him like a ton of bricks. Olaf, Olaf, who is the old man of the group, who has the least amount of his sentence left. He has 40 shifts left. Meaning that when Cassian first arrived and everyone got their shifts extended, he was probably, meaning the 30-day time jump should have been the day he got let go before his prison sentence was extended. But now he has 40 days left. He's the closest one to getting out. And Kino is really rooting for him in his, very aggressive and dickish way. But he's genuinely wants to see him free.
In the position that he's put in as, like, the warden of the group, he pushes him in the most positive way he can, which is not really that positive at all.
But then you have to remember, Kino is a broken man, and when we're keeping this analogy, just be a Jew in a concentration camp, just one with more power over other Jews, but ultimately still a Jew in a concentration camp.
Yeah.
Treated horribly. So it's understandable why Kino's the way he is. I mean, he's been treated horribly this entire time. He has power, but he's still treated just as horribly. So obviously his ability to form real human connections are not what they used to be.
Yeah.
And so, basically, throughout this entire episode, Cassian has been making plans to escape. Every time he says he's going to the bathroom, he's actually filing off pipes. Him, Melshi, and the rest of them openly communicate with the other cell blocks. They are taking notes of the fact that the lift isn't electrified yet. They realize that the guards don't care. Which is basic, and throughout this time, Cassian's trying to recruit Kino, but Kino's just like, no. Like, you can tell Kino has become more partial